Hello, I'm doing my very first official PCT shakedown hike today. If you don't know what that is, that's basically a test run to test your gear for an up-and-coming trip. So I'll be doing an overnight tonight in the Mourne Mountains following the Mourne Way route. Tomorrow I'm probably going to do a few mountains as well, and I'm fully loaded out, as you can see. Yeah, so I'm going to be testing out quite a few things on this trip for the first time. Number one, the big one, being the tent. I'm going to be testing out my new Lightway Illusion solo tent. So I'm really excited for this. This is a trekking pole tent, so it's the first time that I've used one of those. Yeah, and I'm going to be testing out my Enlightened Equipment quilt. I got the 10 Fahrenheit Enigma from then, so this will be the first time I'll have used that, which is really exciting. And then the backpack as well, it's fairly new. So I've used it just on day hikes before, but this is its first overnighter. And I was having some problems with the clicking shoulder straps, but it seems to have gone away. So yeah, pleased with that. So yeah, I think that's all. Everything else is pretty much everything I've had on my past trips. MSR, titanium pot and little BRS stoves, all pretty solid. So yeah, let's do this. I'm going to be making notes as I go for things that I want to change and things that I want to keep. One thing that I really need is one of those shoulder straps for my water bottle. Oh, yeah, I've got a little water bottle literally hanging, wobbling out the place and hitting me. I'm really annoyed. That's something I had in my last backpack that I really liked, was the shoulder strap, but unfortunately it's stuck onto the bag, so I couldn't take it off, and I forgot to get one. So that is on my list. Get a shoulder strap carrier water bottle thingy majiggery bob. I also forgot to mention the shoes that I'm wearing on this trip, which is kind of important. I am wearing the Ultra Lone Peak 6s, as you can see. I've been wearing these for they've probably had about 300 kilometers in them, so I love them. So much better than walking in boots, even if your feet do get a little bit wet. I love them. So and darn tough socks, so that's what I'm going with today. That's what I'm going with on the PCT. Christmas tree. This is another thing I want to test out in this trip, so I'm kind of hoping it rains so I can test it out. This I just had a proper surge of excitement come through every time I remember that I'm hiking the PCT this year. It's so exciting. Every so often it just hits me. Sometimes I'm like shitting my pants, absolutely terrified, but most times I get really excited and I like to do a wee dance. So exciting! Woo! I have to say though, this is the second time I've done this route, and even though I keep saying I think I'm not doing enough training, I've come such a long way since the last time I did this. I just remember passing these bits and having to take breaks and stuff, and yeah, I haven't taken a break yet, so I will take a break pretty soon because it's good too, but it's just made me realise how far I've come since the last time I did this about a year ago, which feels really good to feel like the training is actually paying off. So yeah, but I'm really enjoying it so far. It's a really nice route. I've had lots of snacks, making use of my snack pockets. It's a good day. I'm trying to cover about 25 kilometers today, which I think is about 15 miles. I need to figure out this mile to kilometer conversion. Yeah, I think 15 miles, that's about what I'm going to be starting off in the PCT doing. Hopefully working my way up to doing 20 miles a day. We'll see how that goes. one thing I'll say about choosing gear for the PCT. It can be quite overwhelming. There's definitely a whole ultralight movement when it comes to choosing gear for a through hike, and when you're watching so many videos, you know, I kind of feel like my bag must weigh like twice the weight as most people. Well, not literally, but yeah, I don't know, I feel like no matter how much stuff I replace my tent, sleeping bag, it still is not as light as the ultralighters out there. It's definitely lightweight, it's definitely getting there, but it's definitely not ultralight. So it's definitely a work in progress. I'm definitely trying to shave off some grams. I'm going to drop my lighter pack list on the description of this video. And if you happen to have a list that is about the same weight, then please let me know, because that's going to make me feel a little bit better. Kind of afraid that it's looking a little bit heavy, especially with all those long water carries and food carries and stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna do my best to try and shave off some grams, but I'm not quite sure what I can get rid of, because I really like everything so far. Yeah, and the tent, the weight savings from switching the tent is quite substantial. I have saved maybe around 600 or 700 grams by switching my tent. Switching to a quilt saved a lot of grams. The backpack is not, this is the Osprey Eja 58. It is not massively ultralight. It is around 1.2 kilograms, but I'm probably going to leave the lid at home to save a little bit more. So some of these ultralight backpacks are around like 500, 600 grams. So, but yeah, I decided I would just personally prefer to have a little bit of a heavier backpack, especially because I know my gear is not going to be totally ultralight. Yeah, so I have made some weight savings in different places, but I'm still looking at a base weight. I think my base weight is around 9 kilograms or so. And I don't think I've come across someone doing the PCT yet that has a base weight around that, but then maybe it's because of the places I'm looking at ultralight groups and, you know, watching gear videos, and yeah, they all seem to have a lot lighter base weight. So, but then I'm also a really cold person, so I do have down trousers and down socks, which do take up a little bit of room. But yeah, I think I'm gonna be very grateful of those later. So yeah, I think that's all my waffling for this bit. I'm just sitting having my lunch now, and then I gotta keep on walking. I can't imagine this is going to be the most interesting video I've ever made. It's basically turning into a list of things to remind myself to get. One thing I've been like contemplating about bringing is a windproof jacket, and yeah, I put on, this is my cycling windproof jacket, and I have to say it was a very good decision because it is windy today. And it's amazing how much warmer you feel in a tiny little ultralight windproof jacket. So I might actually end up bringing this one. I don't know. It does have like pockets on the back and a zip, which might get annoying rubbing against the backpack. So I might try and get one for hiking in. But I'm really pleased I brought this today because it is very cold. I think this might be where I say goodbye to my dry feet. It's pretty exposed up here. Well, as you can see, the umbrella is working great. Ah, it's gonna blow away. Not so good. Definitely looks like there's some rain coming in. Bit lost, so the trail is down there, not up this big hill. You see my breath? Might be home for the night, possibly. I'm just trying to get up at the minute, but it is very cold. I am so impressed with this quilt. Oh my goodness, like, I don't know if you can hear me through this, but it was literally, ice in my face. Yeah, it is basically snowing inside the tent. All the condensation is totally frozen over, as you can see. And now that it's windy, it is snowing inside the tent. But I couldn't believe it. I managed to stay really quite nice and toasty last night. So I'm really pleased with that. I'm also wearing my down trousers and down socks. Yeah, so yeah, it was a really nice night. I'm gonna try and get up soon, but my socks and gloves and shoes are totally frozen solid. So yeah, I'm working on the getting up bit, but we'll get there. Frozen solid. Frozen shoes. Frozen tent. Everything is frozen. I'm just gonna do, I don't know if you can hear me, just gonna do a quick summary of how the shakedown hike has gone so far. Things that I've done right, things that I've done wrong. So far, everything went pretty well. As you saw this morning, it was a very cold night. Probably the coldest night I've ever slept in. I'm not sure what temperature it was, but it was snowing inside the tent this morning, so that's a good indication that it was Baltic. But I am really pleased with the sleep system. So no changes there to be made. I'm really pleased with the backpack. If you can see, it's over there. What I am not so sure about, I love the tent. There's so many pros and cons to the tent, but the condensation inside, which was to be expected with a single-skinned trekking pole tent, it made getting ready this morning really difficult because every time I moved, there was just ice falling onto my head. Which wasn't very nice, but yeah, so I'm gonna have to put in some thinking about what tent to bring on the PCT, because yeah, that's something that I just never got with the MSR tent. So, but it is a good bit heavier, so lots to think about. So that went well. Also, actually, thank goodness for Julia at Adventure Geeks video, because that reminded me to put my water filter in my quilt last night. So thank you, Julia, for the reminder, because it would have totally frozen and broke. Yeah, my shoes and everything were frozen solid, so that's another thing. Maybe I should sleep with the shoes in the tent, because it was really hard to get them on this morning. Yeah, and the waterproof socks this morning were great. Oh, there's a sheep. But yeah, gear wise, I think yeah, I think I've pretty much nailed it on this overnighter. I'm gonna do a shorter hike today, get back to Newcastle and get the bus back to Belfast just in time for work tomorrow. So here we go, day 2. One thing I will definitely be adding in is gonna be waterproof over gloves, because my gloves were just frozen this morning because they got so wet yesterday, but thank goodness I had an extra pair. Officially at the end of my 2-day shakedown hike. I had an amazing time this weekend. It was so good, and I learned so much about my gear. I feel pretty confident now. There's definitely a few things I'm going to change and a few things I'm going to add in, but all in all, it was really successful. I almost made it to the end of that video with my last GoPro battery. So yes, I was just going to say, if you've made it this far watching this video, then well done to you. And yes, thank you for following along, and I'll be back with more videos pretty soon. So thank you and goodbye. I'm away to have a beer.